Alright guys, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a VPX showcase for the games from May 14th and the 21st. I was out on a business trip last week, and so we're going to go through some of the games that we covered last week, or that were released last week. Only one of them I have not downloaded, Grand Slam, for Gottlieb's 1972 title. So we're going to go through and we'll start with Big Shot from Gottlieb, 1974. This is one of the, I think this is the first pinball game I ever played in real life. A patient that I was working with who had Parkinson's actually owned this table. It was in his basement. And when he would rest, I would go down and play pinball just as much as I could get in. So it's a very slow table, but it's a very good table. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Boris was the tester on this. And we'll get started. We'll look at the FPS of all these tables. I'll try to keep it down available on the bottom left. So in this case, it's 60 FPS, and we'll get started. Add a coin, and start the game. Obviously, this is an EM table, but awesome table. The graphics on this table look actually incredible. The ball in particular is very, very good. Sound effects are quite good on the flippers and such. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize for that. Hopefully you guys can hear some of the sounds and pops and dings and things like that that are very characteristic of these older tables. Pretty slow moving table, but it is an absolutely beautiful, crystal clear 60 FPS table. Ball just has a little tiny bit of jaggies around the very, very edge of it, but other than that, this table looks absolutely fantastic. Runs amazing. It's true to life. This table was very slow, so this is not uncommon. This is exactly how it was. This is a very old title. Very good table. Very fun table. And I believe he got 5 balls in this one instead of 3. It always said 3, but I always ended up with 5 on his table. So I don't know if this one actually does 5 or not. It says 3 balls per player, but his was the same way, and it actually gave him 5 every time. So this is Big Shot. You can see it had to go through all those cycles just to get back to giving you a ball again, which is kind of interesting. Old school pinball at its finest. Some of the really good tables are these Gottliebs. So anyway, this one is available. 60 FPS. We already have this on Atgames, but man, I think this is actually probably a better version of it. It's maybe not as fun because that one on Atgames seems to have been far sped up. This is much more real to life. But at any rate, it exists. Okay. Next up, we're going to do Central Park, also a Gottlieb table. And this one's even older. This is from 1966. I apologize, I have a bit of a cold. I don't know if that's going to come through or not, but you might hear it. You might hear a little bit of rasp in the voice, maybe a cough here or there. I apologize for that. So, tester again on this one is Boris. And I love that the DMDs have these, just crystal clear images in them for a lot of these. They look really nice. It's just kind of a nice touch. So they weren't necessarily needed, but it's just kind of cool to have them. Love that it has all the balls placed in here, which is really cool. And when you hit the power button, you'll see they all kick down into the kicker, basically. Here's your flippers. Extremely responsive. And again, this one's running at basically 60 FPS. We're right at 57, 55. Very snappy. Great sound effects. Tough game. It's actually pretty loud, so I'm going to turn it down just a bit. But yeah, Central Park. Another EM title. It's funny, the scoring is incredibly low on here. These bumpers are 10 points each, which is crazy to think of. I've scored a whopping 341 points. But man, the sound effects are just amazing on this. If you didn't know any better or you weren't paying attention, you'd think someone's ringing your doorbell. It's pretty wild. So that's Central Park. Beautiful game. Very well recreated. Running absolutely beautiful. There's next to no latency on this thing. We're talking 3 milliseconds. So, great port. Next up, we're going to go to Genie, a Gottlieb from 1979. This one's also on the Atgames system. I want to make sure I don't pass over. Yeah, so this is actually, so Class of 1812 is actually from this week. So we're gonna jump over to this one first. We're gonna go in order here. Class of 1812 is one of the Gottlieb tables included on the HD systems. And if you bought the Gottlieb tables on the Atgames 4KP, you'll have it as well. Really good table. It actually plays far, far better. This is tested by Boris. This actually plays way better on the 4KP in VPX than it does on the native version. So, very interesting. Class of 1812. Beautiful table. It's kind of like one of the monster tables, like you got the Creature from the Black Lagoon and Monster Bash. I'm going to start her up.
My name is Zombie and I'm your host. Revive my friends to score the most.
And again, this is running at about, I would say, 50 FPS. Great callouts in this game. Runs really well. Good weight to the ball.
Shoot the ball.
Kind of has a fanfare multi-ball, which we're going through now. Very easy to get into, obviously. You see me get into it very quickly. So yeah, Class of 1812, great game. It's represented pretty well in the Atgames system. It is one of the better Gottlieb tables that we have, but it plays incredibly well in VPX Standalone. I would venture to say a lot better. But yeah, so there's that.
Oh, excuse me.
Again, love the callouts on that one. Alright, next, I think we have Genie now. We're going to go to... Actually, we're going to jump to Elorado, City of Gold. That is one for this week, the 21st. Now, we just played this in Flipper Friends last week, I think it was. And so, if you played it on that, you probably got a little frustrated with it. It tilts very easily. Again, Boris is the tester on this one as well. I love that DMD screen. Just makes it look nice and pretty. This is a very tricky game, but actually the definition of the table is far better in the VPX Standalone version than it is on the 4KP even. So it looks pretty good on here. Go ahead and add a coin. And the whole point of this game is to knock down all these targets, get this up to 3x, get your full max. You get 3 times 100,000, which is 300,000 points. If you knock down all the targets at the top twice, you get an opportunity to get an extra ball. So there's that. That's pretty much the whole game. Very cool game. We'll turn this one down a little bit. They get pretty loud. And again, right at 60 FPS. Plays really good. Still a tough table. You're still going to get the bad drains on that left side. Really, both of these outlanes are really bad for draining. It's not uncommon on this table. Pretty slow table, but that's okay. A lot of these older tables have pretty weak flippers. That's just how they were, and they weren't set up very violently or very steep. I like to say. I like to call them violent when they're the steeper they get, because then the flippers have to be stronger and such like that. But yeah, this is Elorado, City of Gold. Again, that outlane is terrible on this game, but that's what you're dealing with. Alright, so that was from Gottlieb 1975. So again, very old table, but another good classic. Alright, now we're going to go to Genie. Alright, Genie. And again, this is one we just played probably a couple weeks ago. So we've kind of been, in Flipper Friends, we've been going through a lot of the older Gottlieb tables. We have Gladiators this week. I actually downloaded that this morning to check that out as well. Testers on this one are Evil Wraith, Coffee at Joe's, and Boris. Okay. Here it is. This is a wide body table. Really cool sound effects. This game plays incredibly well on the 4KP and VPX standalone. This table on Atgames does not play near as nice as this. The physics are incredibly floaty on the Farsight release that they did. This version of it that I'm playing now is so much better than the 4KP version. I cannot tell you if you played that at all during Flipper Friends. You know, it is playable, it is a good game, but when you play it, if you were to play the VPX standalone version that I'm playing now, you'd be much more impressed. It just plays very well, it's smooth, it's silk, just plays incredibly. That spinner is so important to gameplay, and it just sounds so good on here. The only thing you really miss out on is some sound effects kit, and that's pretty much it. But graphically and how this thing plays is so much better on VPX than it is on Atgames. So yeah, Genie, great game. This is from, let's see, yeah, 1979. So this game is 46 years old. So it says a little bit about its value and how probably influential it was back in the day. Great table. Love that shot right straight through, all the way to the top. Gotta love that spinner. Okay, that's Genie. Alright, this next one's a little quirky little title. This is from 1986, which just happens to coincide with another F-14 type movie with a celebrity on a motorcycle with a woman. So we won't name that here. I think you all know who we're talking about. Gold Wings. This is an interesting table. Gottlieb 86. So Blaze, Coffee at Joe's, and Chaotic BPR were the testers on this one. This table I played in person for the first time in October, and I played it again probably about a month or so ago at the Vintage Pinball World. This is a really peculiar table. Has some really weird layout, but I gotta say, it plays really, really well on VPX standalone. When I played this in real life, the flippers were incredibly weak, and it did not come across as a very good table at all. So the fact that I can play this with this level of fidelity and strong flippers is really, really awesome. For historical purposes, to be able to hang on to that and be able to play these games again, there's nothing better than digital pinball when it comes to that. So, absolutely fantastic. The real table is very janky. This flipper would stick all the time. These were quite weak. This one here is running at about 54 FPS. Looks and sounds amazing. I'm just so happy with the enhancements and everything that's been done for these games to be playable. And just for the historical purposes of it, it's pretty fantastic. So, really cool title. I'm not particularly good at it, but I don't claim to be either. Pretty cool. You hear the jet engines come up, and it actually shows the jets and stuff. A lot of times in person, there are going to be a lot of tables, and you're probably not going to get to hear the sound effects, and so another really cool feature of being able to play in your own home or on VPX. Awesome table. Okay, we'll stop there. Alright, so Grand Slam 1972 Gottlieb I did not download. That's not one that I would generally play again, so I skipped over that one. But we'll go to the next one. Let's see here. Where do we got next? This page is completely older games that I've already downloaded. Pirates of the Caribbean. So this is from 2006's Stern release. This is a recreation. So, plays incredibly well, actually. I didn't know. I've only played this game a couple of times. It's pretty hard to find. It's usually in pretty bad condition. Blaze and Coffee at Joe's did the testing for this one. It's really cool to see some of these Stern releases that are a little hard to find. It looks incredibly similar to this. Really, really cool. And again, this is running at almost 60 FPS. Like, it's just fantastic that these games are available. Love the DMD work that's been done. I'd be willing to bet there's a pulp pack for this one out there somewhere. I have not seen it, but it wouldn't shock me at all if there is one. Pirates of the Caribbean is a very well received, believe it or not, Disney movie. And, yeah. Ren's fantastic. This is kind of the upper playfield. It's a little tough to see on here. That's my only problem with this one is some of the more complex turntables actually are a little tough to read, a little tough to see a little bit. There's not real good defined edges throughout here, but it is what it is. You can't fault how well this game plays, that's for sure. There you can see the boat destroying. It's pretty sweet. Into the chest. Really cool toys on this one. You could tell why this game is still very well received even today. It's very expensive apparently. So awesome table. That is Pirates of the Caribbean. So if you're interested in this franchise at all, you will absolutely love this game. And even if you aren't, it's a great game. So awesome. Let's see if I can get into the dead man's chest here. Nope, too late. So, anyway, we'll move on. It's tough not to play these because I love them so much. You get into them and you just want to keep going. So, alright. That was from last week. So then we have a couple more from this week, which are really good tables that I am personal favorites of mine. This next one is Twister. So Twister and Victory are the next ones. Twister is one of my favorite games on VPX Standalone. It's a Sega table. This is from 1996. It kind of goes in the vein of Independence Day. Blaze and Ominous Osi did the testing on this. Ominous Osi is the one who announces the tables every Wednesday for what's new to the Wizard. And so that's what we're going through. So this table is absolutely incredible. I love this table so much. This is such a great table. I was able to do 2.2 billion on this table this morning, and I'd never been able to... Yeah, there's my score right there. I was never able to play the... So if people have asked me that in the past, if it keeps the scores from your past plays, it absolutely does. So you can see TLS right there. I haven't touched anything yet. I haven't put a coin in. So that's very important to know. These are actually keeping... Look at that. It actually has nicks on there. That's cool. So anyway, Twister, awesome table. We'll fire it up. I'll turn this one up just a little bit so you can hear more of the call-outs.
Everybody underground now!
Obviously call-outs from the movie. And obviously now you know that there's a new movie called Twisters, which is a sequel to that. Awesome music from the movie. Actually, there's a lot of different really good music in this movie. Dead flipping is actually a thing on these VPX standalone tables, which is really awesome. It's really tough to do a lot of times in some of the Atgames versions and ports, especially some of the older ones. The Gottlieb tables in particular are really hard to do, but it plays really, really well. This table just, it was good before. It ran about 45 FPS before, and it's running right at 60 now. So, yeah, I lost the ball because I turned on the FPS. That's okay. No, nobody cares how I play. They just want to see the table. So, the spinning dial in the middle actually has a magnet in it that starts one of the multi-balls. It's very, very cool. Changing wind directions. I love that there's cow references in this because there was in the movie when cows are flying around, but it's actually kind of cracks me up because many of the Williams tables have cow Easter eggs. So if you go through a large number of Williams tables have cow Easter eggs, whether it be Black Rose, whether it be Attack from Mars. Almost all of them have some reference to cows, which is pretty funny. And you'll see that across these games as well. So yeah, this one has a cow multi-wall, and then there's a Dorothy multi-wall too, which happens to do with the contraption that they try to get into the tornadoes. So, awesome table. I could play this for hours. I certainly will be. I already played it for quite a bit this morning. I got the pop bumpers up to 1 million every pop earlier, which is just insane, man. It's so awesome. Yeah, now the pops are already up to 1 million. That's insane to me. Just how quickly. Such a great game. There goes cows. Extra ball. Just for the record, I'm a city boy. I have no affiliation with cows. I just love that they're a thing within the Williams community, and then of course on this table as well. So I'm a city boy through and through. Awesome table. Shoot the lock. I was going to try to get into that lock, but the twister is having other ideas for me. Get in there. There we go. So now this would be the twister multi-ball. Or basically the Dorothy multi-ball that I call it. Awesome feature. Look at that. Is that not cool? Awesome table, awesome multi-ball. But we'll stop there. Running 60 FPS. I mean, this is fantastic, folks. This table only had about 1,000 tables made, right along with the Independence Day. They're pretty short runs, so to find one of these tables is pretty difficult. So the fact that we can play these in our homes is a fantastic get for the community. So, and lastly, Victory. Victory is a 1987 Gottlieb table. Again, this one's already available on the Atgames systems. They run pretty well, but in more cases than not, the VPX versions actually run quite a bit better. The only downside to VPX so far is that it doesn't have leaderboards. So you can do iScored and stuff like that, but and the testers for this are MCAP Tim and Mr. Andromeda. I'm actually considering buying this table. They have one in Ann Arbor, which is like 20 minutes away from me for like $1,900. So I'm definitely on the fence about it, considering it. But the one I played in person was very bad condition, and the flippers were very weak, and it was very hard to play. So I'd have to check it out and obviously go through my paces with it, whether or not I want to buy it or not. But it's a really fun table. Add another coin. Here we go. Holy crap, is this loud? We'll turn this one down and look at the FPS right at 56. 53, 56, somewhere in there. Definitely above 50. Awesome table. This one has all kinds of checkpoints that you go through. I just went through checkpoint 1, there's checkpoint 2. Dead flipping is really easy to do on the VPX Standalone version, where it's much more difficult on the Atgames version. This is much more playable. This ball will kick out, come to the bottom. Try to get it to my left flipper with any luck. Nope, still no luck. Ball is not cooperating. But yeah, victory. What a great game, man. This is where I might give my shot. Nope, still missed it. There we go. Into checkpoint 2. Checkpoint 3 is up here. So if we just shoot this wide, I missed it. But yeah, I even did a classic review on this table if you're interested in learning more about it. Actually, this is one of my favorites. Absolutely love it. So I just went through checkpoint 3. Checkpoint 4 is pretty easy to get to. If you go back to update 3, you actually go down there and come down through here. But at any rate, that is victory. So those are the tables that we covered for this week for the VPX Standalone Wizard releases. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to doing more in the future. Lots of beautiful tables here. Obviously, one thing I didn't cover today is that if they have the Legends Unchained logos at the bottom of the thumbnails, those are ones that have been installed via the Wizard, and it gives you some indication of where my collection is and just kind of how the community's been building up. So these tables are absolute joy to play. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And we'll see you next time. Retro Tech.